What's up, YouTube fam? This is your girl, Loryn Denise, host of This Too Shall Suck podcast, a fresh perspective on grief. Welcome back to season 4. As you can tell, I'm holding my phone. My computer went down right after my interview, but I'm glad it didn't go down during my interview. So on this episode, we're going to be talking about the things that you should not say to someone when they're grieving. Okay, I'm going to give you the things you should not say, but I'm also going to give you some great suggestions as well. So if you know someone who is grieving, and you probably have said some of these things I'm going to say, so I'm letting you know now, or if you are grieving and you're like, listen, I think I'm going to share this with someone who said these things to me, who may have hurt my feelings. Perfect. Listen, we all make mistakes. It all happens, but we can all learn and get better. So, of course, let me know what resonated with you the most. Leave a comment. I really hope you enjoy it. I hope that you have some good takeaways and some things to say and not to say to people while we're grieving. And I'll meet you at the end in the comments. Welcome back, my loves, to season 4. Yo, 4 seasons? It's wild style. 4 seasons of This Too Shall Suck podcast, a fresh perspective on grief. It's wild style that 4 seasons. Like, I think I just had to sit in that for a second. Like, when I started this journey a little bit over a year ago, who knew? You know what's crazy? I knew. I knew because God told me this is what I'm supposed to be doing. This is the vision that he had for me, and I don't even think I'm thinking big enough with the vision. I just want to help as many people heal in their grieving journey. And honestly, when I started this journey, and it still holds true today, if I can help one person in their journey of grief, then I have done everything that I needed to do. And so I have done and will continue to do everything I need to do, because as long as one of you guys is healing, then I am golden. So thank you so much for rocking with me for 4 seasons. I can't wait for you guys to get into this season. I have so many amazing guests. And I'm just going to continue to have amazing guests every season. And yeah, man, this is exciting. This is exciting. So, updates. I like to give y'all some updates coming off of a break. It's been like a month, a little bit over a month since about a little bit over a month since I dropped the last episode. And first of all, I just want to thank you guys. That last episode that I did, The Grief of Losing a Parent, is my most listened to episode ever in the podcast. I think it has, oh my God, I don't even, when I looked the other day, it was like almost close to like 2,000 plays or something. It's crazy. It's wild style. Um, and so thank you guys for really listening to that episode. I know it resonated with a lot of you guys. I know some of you all have sent me messages on Instagram. Thank you. I love talking to you guys. And I respond because I'm a human being. And why would I not respond and not connect with you on that level? Because you had, you just took time out of your life to listen to my podcast. So thank you for that, for making that episode super successful. I didn't, when I was recording the episode, honestly, that morning I was like, okay, you got to record the episode. What are you going to do? And so I was like, just tell your story. Just tell your story. And I realized that just being honest, vulnerable, transparent, and telling my story, which is basically what we do in this podcast anyway, really resonated with a lot of people. And so I'm glad and honored that you guys listen. I'm glad that it resonated with so many of you guys. Not even glad. I hate that it resonated with so many of you guys, honestly. Like, hate that you have that feeling of losing a parent, but I'm glad that it gave you just even if like a teach, just like a little teach, a little pinch of hope, then I'm just grateful for that. So thank you for that. What else is going on, y'all? September was a crazy month for me. September was wild style. I was busy. You guys know I only do events for one company because I'm not doing that anymore. But we had 3 events back to back all of September. And so that was just wild. I was in Atlanta most of September doing those events. Amazing, amazing events. A lot of transformations, a lot of elevated experiences that I created. And so that was wild, but it was a good time. I got to see a lot of my family. I got to see some of my friends. So it was good being home and working. Okay. Cause sis was working. All right. So that was good. It's October. So it is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. That's why I have on my pink today. If you are looking on YouTube, you see I have my pink on. It's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And if you're new here, you probably did not know, but I do the spirit of, or hashtag hashtag Spirit of GW challenge every October. It started in 2015 when my mom passed away from breast cancer. And I vowed to do something kind every day in the month of October because it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. It's my birthday month. And I just vowed to do something kind in honor of my mother. Her initials are GW because she was just such a kind, kindred, sweet spirit. And so really, like, honestly, I would, like, pay for somebody's meal in a drive-through or leave them a note on their car. It just started, I just wanted to spread that kindness and that love every day because that's what she gave me and my family and everyone who she came in contact with. And so that's what I started doing. And so last year, I actually did a fundraiser for the first time, a Spirit of GW fundraiser for the very first time. And we raised over $3,000 for a local community, a local nonprofit in Atlanta who was out in the community, helping survivors, helping their family, really just be great. She actually worked as Better Day Givings is the name of the organization, and she worked with my mom before she passed. She worked with my best friend's mom who had cancer, and she just does a lot of wonderful stuff in the community. So I knew I wanted to be able to help her definitely first, and so that's what I did. Is we did a fundraiser, and it was absolutely amazing, and we were able to give her a check for over $3,000. And so this year, I think I shared on here, but maybe not. I think I did. But if you didn't know, my sister Lene, my oldest sister, lives in Ohio. So that's why I moved to Ohio, is to be closer to her because she was diagnosed with stage 1 breast cancer in October of last year. Actually, she was diagnosed with stage 1 breast cancer. And so, God was like, hey, you need to go see about your sister. So I uprooted my life from Georgia and I came to see about my sister. I am grateful and honored and so excited to say that she is now breast cancer free. Hallelujah. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. Sorry, I just had to have that moment to praise God because my God, like, what a year it's been. But she is cancer free. And so this year, I'm going to be doing a walk on October 23rd here in Cincinnati to honor my mom and to honor my sister Lene. So I'm actually doing a fundraiser for that. It's to raise money for Team Lene for the walk on October 23rd. So if you do want to donate to that, I will leave it in the show notes. I will leave it on YouTube. I'll leave it in the description. And then if you're following me on social media, it's in the link in my bio as well, is donate to the Spirit of GW fundraiser. So thank you in advance for anything. Literally nothing is too small. You can give $1 and I would be grateful and thankful. You can give 50 cents and I'll be grateful and thankful because it's just bringing more awareness, helping the doctors who helped my sister be a survivor. So it's really, really important to me to not only honor my mother, but also honor Lene. So that's what's going on with me, y'all. But yeah, I'm in a good space. You probably heard at the beginning of the episode, I'm helping other people now launch their purposeful podcast because this has been such a blessing to me, and I want to bless others and also help them be a blessing to others because God doesn't bless you for yourself, he blesses you for others. And so that's how I feel, is that he blessed me with this amazing platform to be able to help so many amazing people. And so, I want to just pay it forward to continue to bring glory to his kingdom and continue to bless others in the way that this has not only blessed me, but blessed so many other people. So that's what's going on with your girl, y'all. This is going on with your girl. But I already know why y'all here. I just want to give y'all a quick little update on your girl, Loryn Denise. So let's get into it. Today, we're going to be diving into the things not to say to someone who is grieving, because I have had a lot of people come to me and say, like, is this okay to say, when someone's grieving, or I said this, now this person's mad at me, like, what do I do? So I was like, you know what? I got you. I got you. And what I do know is that a lot of these things that people are saying are coming from a very, very genuine, compassionate place, right? They're just coming from a very I want to help, but I don't know what to say, or I want to support. And so I think this is the way to support, right? And so they're coming from a genuine space of really wanting to be there for the person. They just don't know. They don't recognize what they're saying can be harmful, even though in their mind it is helpful. right? And so, we're getting close or going into, shall I say, the holiday season. And so a lot of people are probably grieving this year because a lot of things that happened in 2020, right? And I have an episode actually about that, of how you can manage during the holiday season. It's season one. I'm gonna put it in the show notes. I can't remember. I have so many episodes. I can't remember. It's season one, but I talk about, like, the grief. Actually, nope. Season two. Season two. Season. Don't give me a line, y'all. I think it's season two. It's season two. And I talk about the grief in the holidays and, ways that you can manage that. But I thought it was important to bring this as well, because again, so many people have just kind of reached out to me to say, hey, is this the right thing to say? And then also, again, going into the holiday season, for those people who may be struggling, because they've lost a family member, lost a job, lost friendships. It's been a crazy 2021, right? And so I wanted to make sure I touch on this. So here's my notes, guys. I wrote 10 things here, of things. And listen, this list is it's not this list is not inclusive of everything. There's a lot of things that people say that are not great. Okay. However, I'm here to help you. So I'm going to give you at least 10. I think these are the 10 most common things that people say, when someone is grieving. And so that's why I wanted to kind of dive into that. So let's get into it. So the first thing, this is obviously if someone has passed away, in their life, they're in a better place now. Okay, let me go back. So I'm gonna give you the things not to say, and then I'm gonna give you things that you can say instead of saying that. Okay, so sorry, I wanted to point that out. I'm gonna give you the things that you should not say, and give you the thing that you should say in lieu of, to help the situation. Okay. So again, they're in a better place now. Again, coming from a very genuine space to say, you know what, like, this world is crazy, but they are in a better place. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We get it. But they still not here. Like, my person is still not here. My dog is still not here. Like, they're still not here. I don't care if this world is crazy, but they're still not here. So instead of that, say, I know they were in a lot of pain, and I'm sorry you had to witness that, and this was the outcome. Right? So you're acknowledging that, like, yeah, that person was definitely in a lot of pain. I'm so sorry that you had to witness that, and that this was the outcome. Like, you saw them in pain, and you already had to endure that. I know they were in a lot of pain, number one. You had to watch them be in a lot of pain, and then this was the outcome. Like, like, that sucks. Like, acknowledging how they feel. Like, yeah, that sucks that you had to watch that. It sucks that this person was in pain, and it sucks that this is the outcome, right? So that's just, I don't want to say validating their feelings, but it is validating that feeling of, like, yeah, this sucks, man. Like, I watched them suffer. I watched them go downhill. I watched them do all these things, and it sucks that this is the outcome, right? So just really acknowledging the person's feelings is what that statement can do, instead of saying they're in a better place now, right? Um, the second thing, there's a reason for everything, or everything happens for a reason. Again, genuine things, genuine comments, but, like, to say, like, well, everything happens for a reason, like, you just, everything happens for a reason. And I do believe that, but that doesn't matter when someone experienced a loss. And again, whether that's a loss of a person, loss of a job, when someone experiences a loss, to say, well, everything happens for a reason, because you don't know the reason. Like, I don't want to hear any of that. Like, I don't want to hear, oh, everything happens for a reason. You don't know why. Like, maybe it was protecting them from something else, or maybe that job was gonna take you into a dark place. Listen, cool, 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 cool. Yeah, shoulda, coulda, woulda all day, but don't hit me with the everything happens for a reason, or this happened for a reason, because I sometimes don't know what the reason is. Even if you get laid off from a job, like, even if you knew it was COVID, like, yeah, you knew the reason was COVID, but it's like, why me? Like, why did I get laid off, but this person still has their job, right? And so instead of that, say, I know you don't understand why this happened, and I'm sorry you have to deal with that feeling. Right. So, again, acknowledging that person, like, I get that you don't understand the reason why this happened. and I'm so sorry that you have to deal with that feeling. Like, I know you already are grieving, and so that's, you already have to grieve this loss, and I'm sorry that you have to deal with this feeling of not understanding, because that's a hard feeling, right? So again, just giving them some type of acknowledgement, also recognizing that, like, you don't understand, they don't understand. Again, even if the reason was like, oh, the pandemic, right? I'm really, 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 really sorry. And I know you don't understand why this happened. And I'm really sorry that you have to deal with that feeling. So I think all of these just kind of validate the person's feelings and acknowledge them and acknowledge their feelings, because the biggest thing, actually, I'll wait to get in that. The third thing, and again, simple, simple, simple question. How are you? People get so irritated with me when I bring this one up, because I'm like, when you ask someone immediately after a loss and say, "How are you?" People would literally come up to me and, like, after my dad died, be like, "How are you?" What am I supposed to say? I'm fine, or, I'm in a terrible headspace, or, I really just want to go lay down in the grave next to, like, what am I supposed to say? But if I say any of those things, then people are like, they don't know what to do with it. So instead, what do we say? I'm fine. I'm fine. And that's not true. You're not fine. And that's okay. When somebody lost their job and somebody lost a friendship, like, well, how are you doing? I mean, it sucks because I really, really enjoyed that friend, and I don't understand why we fell out, or, whatever, but, I'm fine. No, like, no, 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 no. Don't do that. I remember vividly one time, my one of my best friend's dads passed away, and her son's father's mother came in there and came into the house. Of course, everybody comes to the house after everybody passes. So she comes in the house. We're all sitting outside on the patio. I'm sitting next to my nephew, sitting next to her. And she comes in and she says, "Hey to everybody." And then she looks immediately at my best friend and says, "How are you?" I got so triggered that I literally said, "How do you think she's supposed to be? Her daddy just died." And it came out so quick, y'all. Like, it's not my proudest moment, okay? But it came out real quick. Because why would you ask her that when her daddy just died? What are you talking about? How is she supposed to be? She's like, "Well, I was just saying, like, I said, "Listen." I said, "Don't do that. Don't do that ever again in your life." So instead of that, you should say, "How are you holding up?" That's a better real life question of, how are you holding up? I know you're not good. I know you're not fine, but how are you holding up in this moment? And in that moment, you can say, "You know what? I'm not really doing good right now. You know what? I'm okay right now in this moment," right? Give them the opportunity to give their real feelings and their real sentiments behind how they're feeling. But when you say, "How are you doing?" You're looking for the answer that you want. And I'm not saying that and again, you may be like, "Loryn, that's not the case," but you are, because you're not giving them the space to say, "I'm not okay." So instead of saying, "Well, how are you doing?" And if they say, "I'm not okay," and then you're like, "Oh, I know." So then you go back to that, like, they're like, "Well, you don't know." You know what I mean? Like, it goes back to that. So that's why it's really important, instead of saying, "How are you?" to say, "How are you holding up?" Because then that gives them the space to say, "You know what? Right now I'm holding. That's it. I'm not holding up. I'm just holding." Or "I'm not okay in this moment," or "Right now in this moment, I feel okay." Right? Like, that gives them the space to be able to do that, and for you to have real dialogue on how they're feeling. Number 4, it'll get easier as time goes on. I don't know why. I don't know where that came from, to be honest with you. I don't know uh why that's a thing, or why we as society think that's appropriate, but it's not true. It's not true. It doesn't get easier. And so something else that I wrote is, time doesn't heal, taking the right steps does. Right. And so, yes, it could be 2 years, it could be a year, it can be 2 months. If you're taking those right steps to heal, then time is relative, right? And so instead of saying that, I would say, "I know it's not going to be easy adjusting to your new normal, and I want to support you in adjusting," right? Because I always tell people, it never gets easier. You just learn how to adjust That's why people feel like it's gotten easier, because once you're adjusting every single day to this new normal, you're like, okay, this is easy. It's not that it's easy, you've just adjusted, and now you're kind of in this new routine of life. And so you're like, okay, I can do this. Okay, I can get out of bed today. I can, wash my face today. I can have coffee today. I can insert whatever it is, right? Um and so again, to the point, time doesn't heal, taking the right steps does. So if you're taking those right steps, or if you're a person to say, like, listen, I know it's not going to be easy for you to adjust, and I would like to support you in helping you adjust. AKA, I want to support you in whatever steps you need to take in order for you to heal, right? And so I think that's really important, that we should just like throw that right on in the trash, right on in the trash. That idea that time heals or it's going to be easier. Get it out of here. Number 5, I understand, or I understand how you feel. Listen, um, even if you've been through the exact same thing, right? Even if you have lost a parent, even if you have been laid off from a job, even if you have been through a divorce, insert whatever your even is, right? Um, for you to say, I understand how you feel, there's a couple things. So I had someone who lost their parents. They lost both their parents. And instead of me saying I understand how you feel, I told her, I said, I can say I understand how you feel because obviously I've lost both of my parents, but I don't want to fully say that because that's not fair to you, because I don't know what your relationship was with your parents. I don't know what you meant to your parents. I don't know in this moment exactly how you're feeling, because how we were feeling in different moments differs. What I can say to you is I definitely empathize with the emotion that you're going through, right? Instead of saying I understand how you feel. Even though I have lost both of my parents, and I get that feeling, right? Like I get it. Like there's a difference between saying I get it and I understand, but I get it. I get how, like, everyone's calling your phone and blowing you up. I get how you have to go to the funeral home. I get, like, those things I get because I had to do. But to like fully say like I understand wouldn't be fair to your feelings nor mine, because at the end of the day, everyone's grief journey is different, right? And especially if you say, I understand, and you have not been through said loss, that you couldn't understand because you haven't been through that loss, right? So that's not fair to whoever is experiencing that loss to say, I understand, when you never experienced that type of loss. So instead of that, you can say, I can't imagine how you feel, but I'm here to listen if you want to share. And then listen, like really genuinely listen to what they have to say. Be an active listener to what they have to say. And when I say listen, that means listen and be quiet. So to say, like, I'm here to listen if you want to share, and just be quiet. Allow them to share, allow them to pour, allow them to get out their emotions that they want to get out. And then at the end to say, I'm sorry that you're going through that. Is there would you mind me, or would you be open to hearing what I have to say on the matter based on my experiences, right? So giving them the opportunity and allowing them to give you permission to uh give them that love and energy, right? That they may need in that moment. But again, if you're not listening to what they're saying, if you're just like, if they're like, oh, well, you're like, I understand, girl. I couldn't imagine, yada, yada, yada. And it's like, well, yeah, you couldn't imagine. You right. Because you know what I mean? Like, and now it can send somebody into a tizzy, or it can send somebody looking at you crazy, and you don't want that. So again, if you don't understand because you haven't been in that space, or even if you've been in that space, to say, you know what, like, I have been in that space and I get the things that you are going through, but I don't fully understand because our journeys are going to be different. But I empathize with you fully because I have been in a space in a similar situation, right? So I think that's really, really important. What number is that? One, two, three, four, five, six. Number 6, uh, you should get out and do something. That'll make you feel better. Again, it's almost one of those things that makes me think of what's that saying? The quickest way to get over somebody is get under somebody. Y'all become, who comes up with these things? Okay. Who comes up with these things? That is the silliest thing I have heard in my life. And I'm telling you from experience, the quickest way to get over somebody is not to get under. And you ask me how I know. A tuh. So, so again, this is the same thing. You should get out and do something that'll make you feel better. You don't know how that person is feeling. Like you're already just again assuming they're in this like crazy space and don't want to get out and do anything. You don't know why they don't want to get out and do anything. Maybe they ain't got no money. Maybe they tired. Maybe they whatever. So instead of saying that, and again, this goes back to like if that person's like, in the dark and shut out and doing these things, right? And you're kind of like, okay, I need to get them out the house. Like it's gonna make you feel better. You don't know how that's gonna make them feel. You assuming that getting them out the house is going to make them feel better, something outside of the house could trigger them severely and make them feel worse. So don't always assume that. So instead of that, I would say, I can't imagine the pain you're feeling right now and can get why you want to be home. But I would love to take you to lunch to give you the space to share how you feel so I can support you. So you see what I did there? Instead of saying like, yeah, girl, it's gonna make you feel better. I'm not assuming that it's going to make you feel better. I'm saying, hey, I would love the opportunity to support you by taking you to lunch. I understand, or not, excuse me, I understand, like, I can't imagine that pain, but I also can get, again, I can get why you want to be at home because you don't really want to be around things or insert whatever. But I would love to take you to lunch, supporting you to give you a space, giving you a safe space, letting you know, hey, you can come to me. I am a safe space. I am comfortable, giving them the security, right? To share how you feel so I can support you, letting them know that, hey, I'm here to support you again. So then it's like, you know what? I think I can go to lunch with them because they're giving me a safe space. They're giving me the security, to let me know that like, hey, if we go out here, like I got you. Like I got you, right? They're telling me like they're acknowledging my pain that they don't necessarily know the pain, but they get why I would want to be there, right? So all of these things are happening in just this one comment. I enjoy that. I came up with that. Like I came up with all these by myself. Okay, I would just like to say that was a good one, Lolo. But no, honestly though, like again, it's just one of those things that people come up with these, different phrases, do this to do this. And it's like, no, that's not necessarily true. Whoever is in that grieving moment needs support. And this is a good way to show them that you're supporting them. Number 7, right? Number 7, 8, 9, 10. We'll go with it. Number 7. Look, now I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, yeah. See, look, what a psycho. I have to like know it's number 4 or number 7. Okay, you have to be strong for insert strong son, mother, kids, granddaddy, husband, wife. It's exhausting being strong. Ask me how I know. It's exhausting having to carry those feelings and suppress your own. It's exhausting to be looked at like that when all you want to do is just like kind of, I don't want to say be weak, but kind of sit down in the corner by yourself. It's exhausting being that person. And so instead of saying that you have to be strong for, because that's kind of saying, hey, I need you to put your feelings to the side because you have to be strong for someone else. So right now your feelings don't matter, right? So instead of that, I would say, I want you to know you are human and your emotions are valid. You don't have to diminish your feelings to try and carry everyone else's. So again, validating, listen, how you feel is valid and you don't have to suppress or put down or put to the side your emotions for anybody. It doesn't matter who they are because your feelings are valid in your grieving process as well, right? And so it's like, oh, you got to be strong for your kids or you're going to be strong for your husband or you're going to be strong for the family. No, you don't. Who said that? Who came up with the idea that someone has to be strong for everyone? Who came up with that idea? Who came up with that? You don't have to be strong for anybody. You don't have to be strong for yourself. You can have that moment of weakness. You can have that moment of sadness. You can have that moment of regret. You can have all those moments and still be able to be okay. I think that's what's the most important thing is like, you know what? I can have this moment of weakness and still be okay. I can have this moment of vulnerability and still be a strong boss individual. Like I can have those moments and still be those other things. You're not going to be it's not well, let me say this. I know it's frowned upon maybe sometimes to do that because of the society we live in, but anyone, I'm telling you, hi, Loryn Denise is telling you, you don't have to be anything for anybody, okay? Except for who you are and yourself and how you feel, because your feelings matter, right? So don't ever feel like you have to diminish your feelings, put your feelings to the side, or any of that, right? Because that's not fair to you, and that's not fair to anyone else going through the grieving process, that you can't be your human self because of someone else's needs, right? So that one is again, like, as a person who is, oh, you're so strong, like, no, 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 I'm not. I'm really not. I really just get my strength through God and the Holy Spirit, and honestly, like, I don't know. I, like, people are like, I don't know how you're doing it. And I'm like, I don't either. I just thank God and the Holy Spirit and keep it moving. Number 8. Oh, so I have 11 things here. Okay. Number 8. That's okay. God has way better than that, we'll say, job or relationship, right? So you're going through a divorce, you're going through a breakup, you lose your job, and saying, like, that's okay. God has way better than that job. God has way better than that other man, or way better than that other woman. Again, I get it. I get it. I get it. You want to like try and give them light at the end of the tunnel to say, like, you know what? It's almost like one of those, what's for you is for you, and what's not for you is what's not for you. And I do believe that. But in this statement, it's basically saying, like, okay, like, yeah, like, how you feel doesn't matter because there's going to be something better. And it's like, no, how you feel in this moment does matter, and it does suck. But you know what I'm saying? God's going to do better. That's what that says, right? And so instead of that, you should say, I'm sorry that job or relationship didn't work out. I know you were committed to it. I'm looking forward to seeing your growth from this and where your next step in life is. So you're still having that positive spin on it, right? So you're acknowledging, like, I'm sorry that didn't work out for you, that relationship or that job. Like, I know that you were committed to that. Like, I know, and maybe towards the end, it might have got a little fuzzy, but I know when you went into it, you didn't go into it with the mindset of, like, yo, I'm about to, like, go into this relationship. I'm gonna go into it for 6 months and that's it. Like, no, like, we're not doing that. Like, people are not doing well. Let me not speak in generalization. A lot of the people who go into relationships are not going into it with the mindset of, like, you know what, I'm gonna just let this rock for about 2-3 months, and and I'm be out of here. Like, if you're doing that, you probably need a different form of therapy, okay? But or somebody, like, when they go into a job, they may be taking the job for just a little bit because they need some money or something like that, or they had a game plan. But even if they needed money and they went into this job and they got laid off, it's like, dang, like, I was coming in here 50 hours a week because I didn't have any money, even when I was tired, because I knew I needed the money, and I was still coming to this little funky tail job, and y'all have the audacity to let me go, right? So that's what I'm saying. So I'm sorry that didn't work out. And I know you were committed to it, because you were. But I am looking forward to seeing your growth from this and where your next step in life is. So it's saying, like, I get it. Like, and I'm so excited. And it's not even a but. Like, it's basically saying, I know you were committed to it. I, as your friend, as your family member, as your spouse, as whatever, I'm looking forward to seeing how you grow from it. Like, basically acknowledging, like, I know this sucks, but I know you're going to grow from this. And I am so excited to be a part of the journey and watch your next step. So giving them that, so you're still giving them that light at the end of the tunnel, but you're saying, like, you're acknowledging in this moment the feelings that they're having, right? And so again, all of this is about just acknowledgement and validating people's feelings when they're grieving. Number 9, stay positive. Again, wonderful. You're right. You should stay positive. However, I wrote this down as well. This can come off as dismissive of their feelings. And I want to be transparent and honest with you guys. As you know, it's what I do. I want to be transparent that this has happened to me. Even, me being in the space that I'm in, I have tried to put someone into a positive space, right? And it came off as dismissive. And I not and I in the moment that I said the comment, I immediately knew that the person was going to take it as dismissive. And so I immediately hit them back and said, I know that comment could be taken as being dismissive because I'm trying to be positive, and that was not the case. And I apologize if that is how it came off, because that was not the case. I was trying to just come from a positive perspective because I know the negative perspective that you could sometimes go into. And I didn't want that for you. Instead of me just listening to you, tried to come up with a solution in the moment and try to give you some positive vibes when that's not what you needed. And so I apologize for that coming off that way, or to almost seem like I was being dismissive, because that was not the case. So I just wanted to be honest with you all about that. Like, I don't hit the mark 100% of the time. Nobody does, right? But that, stay positive, do this when someone's grieving doesn't always work. So instead of saying stay positive, that's a valid feeling. And I'm definitely here to listen if you want to share. So again, validating like how you feel is valid. And if you want to share more, I'm here to listen. And again, just be quiet. And that's it. And if they want to share, they'll share. If they don't, they're not going to. Maybe not in that moment. And that's okay. But at least saying, like, okay, like maybe you're in a funky place right now, and that feeling's valid. That's a valid feeling. And if you want to share, I'm here to listen, and just be quiet and let them just. And if they're like, no, I'm cool right now, whatever. And it's like, okay, well, is there anything I can do to support you in this moment? And they'll either tell you yes or no, tell you what they need, whatever, you know what I mean? But it's giving them, it's putting the ball in their court. And that's the whole thing, is you want to put the ball in their court instead of trying to will them into something. Which is what I was trying to do. Is I was like, I don't want her to go into this like depressive state. So, well, positive, positive, positive. And she's looking at me like, girl, all right. And so again, I had to check myself immediately, but that's why self-awareness is important, because I immediately knew. I was like, this is not going to come across the way that in my mind I thought it was going to come across. So let me go ahead and just let me take responsibility now, and let me just like let it be known that that was not the case, but I also understand why it could look that way, right? um so that is that number. Like I said, I thought I had 10, but I actually have 11. Number 10, this is kind of specifically for like a miscarriage, or if yeah, I'll just say specifically for a miscarriage. You can always try again. Y'all, why would you say that? Why would you say that to somebody who had a miscarriage? First of all, you don't know what they went through to even get pregnant. Number one, if you haven't, go back and listen to that episode on infertility that I had Christina and Jordan Artist. It was last season. It was so good. And they talked about just all of their, different things they had to go through with infertility. But like, why would you say that to somebody? Like, you don't know what they went through to get pregnant. You don't know what was going on while they were pregnant. Like, it may have been almost traumatic for them to get pregnant, right? And so when they got pregnant, and when I say traumatic, like they might have had like a hard pregnancy from the time that they got pregnant to the time that they had the miscarriage. And so, to say that, to be like, well, you can just try again. You don't know. You don't know what was happening in order for them to, number one, get pregnant, or if they did get pregnant, what happened during the pregnancy. So don't do that. So instead, you can say, I'm so sorry for your loss. Is there anything I can do to help support you right now? And then even in that, you can say, I can, if they have kids, you can say, I can watch the kids for a couple days, to give you and, your husband and your wife some space. I can definitely go to the grocery store, because I know you're going to need groceries. I will go to Publix or Kroger for you. Just let me know if there's anything specifically. I'll get the staples, right? I'll take the kids to practice, whatever it is that they need in that moment. But don't say you can always try again, because you don't know what it took for them to even try, and even for them to get there, and to lose that baby. Because it's basically saying like, okay, well, you didn't get this baby, but you can try again for another baby. Well, I wanted this baby, and I wanted another baby, and I wanted another baby. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so just to kind of like diminish that this baby was kind of like, well, okay, well, it's a baby, you can have another one. Like, don't do that, y'all. Don't do that. And the last one, number 11. Instead of saying anything, just show up. Just show up. You don't have to say a word. Sometimes I think some of the best support that I got during I'll say the heavy part of my grieving process was people just being there. Sometimes it was literally just like being around my friends, watching Netflix, someone giving me a really, really tight hug to know, hey, if you want a break, I got you. Um, Sitting in silence sometimes, going and somebody being like, hey, what are you doing? And they know I'm not doing anything. They know I'm at home. They know I'm just like in a funk. They're like, hey, we're gonna come over and bring you some pizza and wine. You know what I mean? Like, just moments like that is what really stuck out a lot. It's not necessarily the things that they said, it was the actions that they did. And so, again, instead of just saying anything, just show up. Just show up. You don't have to say anything. Just show up. When my friend who I was just telling you about, when her dad passed, when I walked up to the house, after they had gotten the body and everything out of the house, uh, I saw her and I saw her mom, and I just hugged both of them. I didn't say I'm sorry for your loss. I didn't say any of that. I just hugged them and let them know I'm here. So if you don't have to feel any type of way, I'm here. So if you want to buckle in my arms right now, I'm strong enough to hold you. If you want to cry right now, I will cry with you and I will get some tissue and wipe our tears. If you want to turn up, I'm here to turn up. If you want to talk for hours, I'm here to do that. If you want to sit and watch, this silly cartoon, I will do that, right? I didn't say a word. I was just there. And I was just there throughout the whole time, helping set up the repast and like just being there is what people remember more than what you said. And so yeah, guys, I guess I can go through. Well, y'all got it. I was gonna say I'm not gonna go through a quick recap. I feel like that would take too long. But yeah, those are just, again, this is not inclusive of everything that you shouldn't say or you should say. It's just some things that when I was really going through, even now, because again, grief is a lifelong journey. Some things that I was like, yeah, let's talk about this a little bit. Let's not say this and let's try and say this, right? And so you know, what I do realize, or what I did realize as I was writing all of those down and just going through them, is that all of those things really just validate the person's feelings. And what I do know about grief and grieving is that a lot of times you just want to be seen and heard. You just want to be seen and heard. And when you feel like you aren't seen and heard, is that's when it really becomes hurtful. That's when it makes you feel like you're alone. That's when you're like, you know what? Like, I'm gonna just suppress these feelings because like nobody wants to hear them, right? And so by using those statements that I gave instead of the ones of not to say, it allows people to feel seen. It allows people to feel heard. It allows them to not feel alone. It allows them to feel safe, which a lot of times with grief, you don't feel safe. You don't feel like you have a safe space. You don't feel like anyone understands. You just don't feel. So to that point, you don't feel, because if you don't feel, then I'm not going to have to worry about feeling safe. I'm not going to have to worry about someone understanding. I'm just not. So instead, I'm just going to not feel anything and I'll be fine. And so using those statements allows people to be able to feel safe, to not feel alone, because I always tell people that grief is, you're not alone in grief, but it can feel lonely, right? Because you're the one experiencing the emotions. And so it's really important for you to use these statements to create that safe space for whoever it is that you're grieving. And even you, if you're grieving, you can share this with somebody and say, hey, you've said these things to me before and I didn't really know how to vocalize how I felt, but here's some ways that maybe moving forward, if someone's grieving, that you can kind of support them in a way that makes them feel safe. Because in that moment, when you said that, I didn't feel safe, I didn't feel supported, and I didn't feel heard. Even though I know you meant it and I know that you wanted to, it just didn't make me feel that way, right? And so listen, listen. If you are listening to this and you have said some of these things and you're like, oh my God, I'm about to put my foot in my, it's okay. We've all said it. Like I told you, I said it recently, and I am in this space all the time of trying to help people in their grief. You're not gonna hit the mark 100% of the time. You're just not going to do it. But as long as you're making progress, That is what the beauty is. That's what it is. We're not perfect. None of us are perfect, and we're not always going to get it right every time. But as long as you're working and progressing and trying to understand and wondering how you can help, then that is what matters. And so if you've said those things before and you're like, okay, I need to do better, that's okay. Now we got a way to do that. If you're in the space and you're like, people have said those things to me and it made me feel this way, share this with them and let them know. But as I always say, be kind to yourself and give yourself grace, because if you don't, who will? That's it, you guys. We got episode 1 in the books for season 4. If you are not already, make sure you're following me on social media at This Too Shall Suck Podcast on Instagram and Facebook. I do respond to messages. I love talking to you guys. Also, if you don't have social media, we know what happened the other day with the social media. You can definitely email me at hello@thistooshallsuckpodcast.com. Definitely make sure you're letting me know any topics you want to hear. Let me know how this episode resonated with you. Or even if you have guest suggestions. Some people have suggested guests to me. I'm definitely open to all of that. So you can definitely email me there. This episode and every episode is produced by my amazing producer, Mike Sick. And all the original music you hear on This Too Shall Suck podcast is produced by Jimmy Samaj. As always, I love you guys so much, and I'm sending you love and light in your life because you deserve it. I'll see you on the next episode. Mwah. All right, my loves, I hope you all enjoyed that episode. You can actually listen to This Too Shall Suck podcast, a fresh perspective on grief, on all listening platforms. And make sure, if you're not already, following me on social media on Instagram and on Facebook at This Too Shall Suck podcast. And you can hit my website as well. Learn more about your girl, Loryn Denise, at www.thistooshallsuckpodcast.com. If you love this episode, if it resonated with you, make sure you hit that like button. Let me know, because I know I need to make more videos like that for you. And meet me in the comments. Let's talk about it. I love talking to y'all. And make sure you definitely hit that little bell, that little subscribe button. Thank you guys as always, and I'll see you on the next episode.